We now speak to Trilby Rajna. She's a blogger at Approved Index. She joins us via Skype to tell us about an interesting article that she also published with regard to the top billionaires in the world and the kind of academic qualifications that they have. Trilby, good to have you with us today. What really struck my surprise was that looking at some of the infographics here is that a third of these billionaires actually don't have academic qualifications.
Yeah, that is true. So there's a couple of reasons I think behind that. One also is that the landscape has changed. So we're talking about current billionaires, not, so a lot of them are older, they could be 68, and perhaps there was more of an emphasis of making it on your own and you didn't need to study as much. Of course, we've got younger billionaires like Mark Zuckerberg, and he dropped out of Harvard. But I think that it's really down to a skill set and having that intelligence. If Mark Zuckerberg did, in fact, finish his degree, I think we could safely say he would have aced it.
Well, that's quite certain. Speaking about these academic qualifications, it also seems as though there's a heavy bias here towards engineering and then business studies. Are we finding that these qualifications often are aligned with particular sectors that cultivate billionaires across the globe?
I think that engineering, it's a STEM subject, and internationally there is an emphasis on growing this in amongst learners and encouraging students to get into STEM subjects. I think that engineering, it wasn't necessarily engineers going into engineering fields. It's perhaps the way that they are taught. It's a degree where problem solving and mathematical skills, they're very important within it. So I think that's why it's kind of come up tops. However, that being said, what the research also shows is that a multitude of degrees are present amongst billionaires, and that it's not necessarily one skill or one degree that comes out as the top one.
Something else that does come as not too much of a surprise is that a lot of these billionaires are based in the US. That's followed by Germany, China, as well as Russia. From your perspective, Trilby, clearly it does show that developed economies and those who have the particular vessels and strength to cultivate entrepreneurship are the ones who potentially develop a lot more billionaires than any other nation elsewhere.
Sure, definitely. I mean, if you look per continent, it's slightly more balanced. So Europe and America, Europe is not that far behind America. However, I think Asia and a lot of the less developed countries there have a lot of billionaires. So I think infrastructure and support systems are really important because that fires entrepreneurship.
Trilby, thank you so much for your time and a very interesting article that you wrote there. That was Trilby Rajna, who is a blogger at Approved Index.